Thank you so much for joining us here on AccuWeather Weekend. I'm Bree.
And I'm Melissa Constanzer. As we gear up to get you through Saturday and Sunday, first weekend of November, some will be bringing in the chance for rain, which is pretty welcomed in actually many spots across the nation, I should say.
Many. We've been running abnormally dry across satellite and radar. Still pretty dry across a large chunk of the U.S. The east, the central U.S., but we do have some action firing off there across the southern plains and even eastern New Mexico.
Yeah, this is the start of a stormy weather pattern here through the nation's heartland, extending back to New Mexico, and that's going to continue to bring that chance for rain in the upcoming days. It's going to shift a little farther to the east. It's all part of this new storm system moving through the west, which is packing a powerful punch. It's not only bringing winds to places like California, but it's also going to bring the numbers down eventually for places like Phoenix.
Yeah, winds howling along the Pac Northwest right now.
Concerned about that risk for flooding here, Bree.
Yeah, and if we watch kind of where a lot of that moisture is coming from, you'll see it surging there out of the Gulf, right? So we have the upper level flow pattern at least to help support those thunderstorms. And well, we also have support here in the tropics. I want to start us off with the water vapor loop just to kind of get a feel of where some of that moist air is and where some of the dry air is, because where you're seeing the reds and the oranges and the yellows, you'll see a lot of the Caribbean, a lot of the North, a lot of the Gulf, a lot of the North Caribbean has remained dry here over the last few days. A lot of dry air even feeding over the Bahamas right now. But gradually, we're going to start to expand that rain, expand the moisture availability, at least, that these storms can draw from. And so we are anticipating some downpours, tropical storm. We're going to get to Patty in just a bit, but we want to focus on this area in the Caribbean where we do have that high risk. Look at temperatures. The ocean heat content, very important when it comes to that development. And if we look at the Gulf of Mexico, you'll see that those numbers have dropped pretty steeply here, and we're lining up to where we typically sat over the past 10 years between 2013 to 2023. Now, while temperatures are still plenty warm in the Gulf of Mexico, as we've seen this rapid decline, we aren't necessarily anticipating, or at least it lessens the chances for rapid intensification. Wind shear, though, still plenty of it across the Gulf, though you'll note as we head into the beginning of the week, we'll start to push that wind shear even further north. And so as that wind shear lifts, this is where we are anticipating our best chance for development, all of those ingredients lining up together.
The Northeast continues to face an intense dry spell, and it's an increasing risk for wildfires too. In New Jersey, the Forest Fire Service has raised the burn restriction level. Yes, it has been quite dry. Past 30 days, hardly seen a lick of rain across a good chunk of the mid-Atlantic into the Northeast and portions of New England. We're still awaiting some moisture. Got some with a frontal boundary yesterday as we went through your Friday, but even that was only New York City, so say goodbye to the 80s in several spots. If you're getting out for a little bit of football action, jeans and at least a t-shirt if you're trying to get out and about, and today is the day that you want to do that. Let me just say, across the north central tier of the nation do have some showers starting to work their way back into Omaha and Kansas City, but as a whole, the rest of us enjoying some beautiful weather. Chicago 66 for your high, so looking good here. Fargo coming in at 46 degrees. It's November. We expect these numbers to be a little bit lower, but here comes the rain, and oh, do we need the rain here across the north central tier of the nation. There's going to be plenty of it from Omaha towards Green Bay through much of Michigan. We are looking at a wet Sunday. It's going to impact some of those football games out there, like the one in Green Bay. Here we are watching some of these storms just getting going as we head through your Saturday. But the real story will be as we move into in Philadelphia. Beautiful weekend on tap for us. Saturday, Sunday, right where we want to be, in the lower 60s this time of year. So I don't think it gets any better than this in the city of brotherly love if you like November weather, or at least early November weather. Let's face it, there's a difference before we get to the end of it. Meanwhile, we'll take you to New York City, and not too bad either, in the lower 60s.